Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News, and I'm joined by Nico Leivars. Nico, how are you today, mate?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Tough session in the Steel City gym today. I was watching it, better watching it than being a part of it, I think. How was that for you, mate?
Yeah, good. We always like to start the week with a bang on a Monday, and I think it was about 15, 16 rounds we did there, but always a sweaty one to start the week off. But they're the conditioning sessions that set you up well for the rest of the week, the rest of the camp. You're sparring and your S&C and that, so it's good to get the work in at the start on Monday.
Perfect, mate. And obviously 2022 kind of very impressive debut on the Wood kind of undercard. I was definitely a massive fan from that night onwards. And then it was a frustrating result in your third fight, dominating in a clash of heads. Kind of, I'd say the fighter didn't really want to know. Like it was very annoying. And then you returned from injury in November on one of Steffi's shows in Rotherham. How will you look back on 2022?
A really good year in terms of learning. Because obviously there's always a lot of people always say, it's a different game, turning from the amateurs to the pros. And you can always get wrapped up in that, thinking, I need to make a lot of changes, I need to learn again. But I think the big thing for me was taking what I did well and what got me a lot of success on the amateurs, and not changing it, but building on it. And I think, I've settled in well at Steel City this past year. Been lucky to get on some big shows where, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of crowd, you've got media weeks and coverage where you've got to get used to being in front of a camera, being in front of a press conference. So it was a really good year of learning the whole game and also tweaking things in the gym with Grant and with my dad, where I found myself, especially towards the end of the year when I got the injury out of the way, because that was an eye-opener in itself. It was an injury that I put off for a while. I almost taped over the cracks when I left GB on a back injury that I should have got sorted, but I didn't. And that was an experience where I thought, I need to take care of my body because it's my first year as a pro, and I need to make sure that I've got many more years ahead in my career, and I need to look after myself in and out of the gym. But that is a lesson I've learned, and starting this year, better than ever. Fit, healthy, hitting harder, always had the speed, but thinking a lot more in the ring now. And it's nice a year on to be pretty much the same sort of show as what my debut was on. Leigh Wood in Nottingham. So it's going to be nice to be back there nearly a year later to do it all again.
No, definitely. And as you mentioned, I take it these cards are something that you want to be staying on. Obviously, consistency. The bright lights, kind of, whilst you said it's something you're going to have to get used to with the big crowd, the big media days and things like that. But definitely staying on these huge fight nights, especially one such as big as Leigh Wood defending his full world title now. I think his first defence of the super title, if the WBA are watching. It's definitely something you want to be a part of. Yeah,
it's a great buzz. Just knowing Leigh as a friend, to see him getting the limelight and headlining his own shows is brilliant, because you see the work that people put in for years behind the scenes when they're on the way up, fighting in the leisure centres, having ups and downs, losing fights, having to come back and putting in the hard work, and you're thinking, I want you to get your break at some point. He did at Matchroom Square Garden in COVID. You won the I lose track of what they call the titles, but now he's got the proper one. And fight of the year last year, came through that, and I think it really put him up there now, where people are realising how good he is. And to take a fight like Lara, it's no pushover, and fair play to him to do it in his own town, put that pressure on him again. Because I don't think people were probably expecting him to pick such a difficult fight, especially, like you said, defending the proper title for the first time. But it's going to be a cracking fight.
How do you see that fight going?
I don't think it will last the full way. I think Leigh comes out, tries to box him for a few rounds. Lara wars into it. It turns into a real fight. I want Leigh to stop him, but I think there'll be a stoppage by round 6. And I think so whoever lands a clean shot first, because they both punch really hard. And but I think Leigh's got the edge in terms of boxing ability, where he can maybe land the clean shot first whilst defending, whereas Lara's a little bit more gung-ho, a little bit more take one to give one. And when you're with someone like Leigh Wood, you probably can't risk that. But we'll see.
Definitely, we will see. And definitely looking forward to that fight. I think I'm on holiday, but I'm gonna find a stream somewhere. And obviously you're fighting on that card as well. What can the audience kind of expect from your performance on that night, mate?
Really sharpened up in the gym these last few weeks. Like I said, coming back from an injury where I didn't realise how much it was hampering me until I got it fixed. And looking really good in the gym, hitting really hard recently, and then picking my shots well. And I've got a good fight. I've got an undefeated kid, 2-0, so I'm not fighting a journeyman. We're risking fights early on, but we've got full confidence in me and the work we've all been doing. This will be my best performance yet by far.
Perfect. I think I was speaking to Junaid and Kyle about this as well. Is it kind of the case where you don't see the best out of you if you're fighting the journeyman fights? It's definitely these undefeated guys who are coming to win. Is that when we see the best Nico Leivars?
Of course it is. It's part of the game, isn't it? Everyone knows how it is when you're on the way up and fighting journeyman, and there's a point where you've got to start risking it. We wanted it earlier on. We don't want too many journeymen, and at the gym we're all confident, we all work hard, we know how good we are. Me and Junaid straight off the bat, we didn't want loads of 4-rounders, we wanted 6-rounders straight off. We got it, and we're fine. And we're boxing good lads with good records, undefeated lads, because we know how good we are, and we're confident in not only our ability but the work we all do behind the scenes. Like, we all have good camps, we all push ourselves, so we know that when it comes to fight night, we're worth more than just going through the motions. And I think when you're up against another lad who's coming to win, they're taking more risks and they're trying to hurt you. And when you get someone like that, there's more gaps and opportunities, to set up feints, get the counters in. There's more angles to come off and more risks to be taken, but also that enables you to look better and land the more powerful shots, because like I said, there's more opportunities to land.
Perfect, mate. And definitely best of luck on Feb 18th, mate.
Thank you.
And obviously we've spoken kind of about your professional career, kind of what's to come on your next fight day, but I'd like to go back to your amateur career, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, and add any titles I've missed off from my research as well. So you won national and international titles as a junior, youth and at senior level, and you represented both Team GB and Team Italy when doing so. That's far more achievements than I've ever had. Kind of, how do you look back on your amateur career?
Loads of really fond memories. Obviously fortunate to represent GB and Italy, where I was travelling the world, especially during COVID when I was on GB, where everyone was locked away, and I had the preferential travel and everything, where I could travel the world whilst everyone was staying at home, which really enabled me to carry on with my career. But a lot of experience that you learn, not only in boxing, but coping with life, the ups and downs, learning to travel away in different countries where they don't like you, it's a bit hostile, you've got to keep your head on your shoulders, box well, do it all again the next day, things like that I think stead you really well when you could turn over pro. And I'm very fortunate with my Italian heritage as well to represent Italy, so it's probably a lucky thing that not many people can say they've represented two different countries well.
No, definitely, and some achievement as well to not only represent both countries, but to be picked by both countries as well. I imagine that was a very proud day when both of those came through. Yeah,
because especially with representing Italy, because it wasn't just a case of you're Italian, here's your spot. I had to go over there and earn it. I had to go over, win a title, nudge their number ones off the team almost. And especially coming in as a foreigner that late, because I was a senior when I boxed for Italy. So I really had to stamp my authority on it to get that number one spot, and it took a few years of hard work, but I finally earned it, and got 3 good wins for Italy, and one of them was against the world number 2 at the time. So it was definitely worth the wait and the hard work, and they all welcomed me on the squad, and I have some really fond memories, and I'm still mates with them all now, funnily enough.
No, perfect. And I suppose when you've got friends on Team GB and Team Italy, I suppose it's not exactly a hostile environment. Not less of a hostile environment as probably, or is it more hostile if you've got more people gunning for you?
No, it's good, because obviously when I joined GB after, I was bumping into the lads at tournaments and at training camps, and they'd all come up and give me a hug and a handshake, and they were all bang on with me afterwards. Because I think with boxing as well, you get a close bond with your teammates and also lads that you fight and spar with, because you've got more respect for each other. And even now, like I said, I'm mates with all the lads on the Italian squad, and we still keep in contact, so it's nice.
Perfect, mate. And going on from that, obviously you used to be trained by your dad. I'm sure he still does a few bits with you as well. But also, how important is it? Kind of, you've moved to a gym where there is a father-son relationship in the gym between Grant and Dalton as well. How was that a particularly important decision when training at Steel City, or is it kind of? Was that a particularly important, or was there another reason why you joined Steel City?
I knew Grant well anyway, because I'd been Sonny's sparring partner for 2 or 3 of his fights. So whilst I was on GB, I was still coming up to spar with Sonny pretty much every week when he was in camp. So I'd known the lads in the gym for about 2 years. And obviously my dad bringing me up for the sparring, he got to know Grant, got to know the gym and how it worked. So we were confident that I was joining the right place. We'd see how Grant worked, not only with Dalton but with everyone else. And we were confident it was the right move for me, and it proved that so far. We've got a great relationship. Dad's working really well with Grant as well. We're all singing off the same hymn sheet and putting some great work in, and I'm thriving under it. I couldn't ask for a better surrounding.
You definitely are, mate. And obviously, as I said, watching you guys training in the gym, better to watch it than be a part of it. My final question, Nico, and thank you for giving me your time today, mate.
No worries.
What does boxing mean to you?
Everything. Like, whether I'm boxing or thinking about boxing, watching boxing, I couldn't imagine life without it, and that's why it's easy for me to commit so much and to train so hard, because to me it means everything. To be a world champion, to achieve everything I want to achieve, it's my whole life, and it's been a pleasure to commit so many hard years of graft to something you love so much, and I wouldn't imagine anything without it.
Perfect, Nico. Thank you very much. Best of luck Feb 18th, and looking forward to seeing all your achievements in the future, mate.
Cheers, thank you
very much.